All right, for today's video, I wanted to talk about one of my biggest regrets from when I was younger, and that was not gaming in moderation. And I don't mean this to be a gaming is bad type of video, because I still play video games and I still very much enjoy them, but I do want to talk about the dark side of it that people don't really acknowledge or don't think exists, which is what happens when it starts to take over your life. So when gaming becomes the most important thing in your life and you start to prioritize it over everything else growing up, it will have a negative impact on you. The tricky part is it doesn't feel like it at the time. It feels normal, it feels fun, and sometimes it even feels productive, especially in competitive games. You're ranking up, improving, putting in the hours, and in your head it feels like you're working towards something, that next rank, that next point of validation. I genuinely thought that at one point, I thought I could go pro in Counter-Strike, which looking back on it now, yeah, that's pretty delusional. But at the time, it did not feel delusional at all. It felt very real. Every win felt like progress. Every rank felt like I was getting closer to something. And that feeling was very addictive. The problem is that feeling can very much trick you. It gives you a sense of progress without actually moving your life forward. None of that translated into my life, really. I wasn't building real skills. I wasn't putting myself out there. I wasn't growing as a person. I was just getting better at something that stayed on my screen. And over time, without realizing it, that starts to replace the things that actually matter. And I think that's where it becomes a real issue. Because when you're younger, you have this surplus of time you don't really understand the value of yet. You're going to assume that it's always going to be there. That's time you could be spent building skills, meeting new people, trying new things, and figuring out who you actually are as a person. It's the easiest time in your life to experiment, to fail, to look stupid, and to grow from it. And instead, it's very easy to spend that entire window of time sitting in the same chair, doing the same thing every day because it's comfortable and easy. Now, to be fair, I didn't do nothing. I played lacrosse, I hung out with friends after school, I went to parties. I did have experiences outside of gaming, but even with all of that, I still spent way too much time gaming, and I have regrets because of it. And those regrets didn't hit immediately. They kind of built up over time as I got older and started looking back on things much differently. One of the biggest ones is I skipped my high school prom just to stay home and play video games. And at the time, it didn't feel like a big deal. It was just like, yeah, I'd rather play than go to a prom. It felt like an easy decision. But looking back on it now, that was a once in a lifetime opportunity and experience. That was a chance to go out, socialize, make memories, do something completely different from my normal routine. And I passed on it for something I don't even remember clearly anymore. That's the kind of trade-off that you don't realize you're making in the moment. And it's not just that. I passed on trying new things besides prom as well. I wish I played football growing up. I wish I got into hockey earlier. Who knows who I'd be if I actually followed those two passions of mine, two sports I really like now. I probably would have met so many different people, had a bunch of different experiences, maybe even built skills or memories that would have stuck with me a much longer. But instead, I stayed in my comfort zone because it was easier. And that's really what this all comes down to. Gaming made it very easy for me to stay comfortable. I didn't have to take risks. I didn't have to put myself out there. I didn't have to fail in front of people or deal with the rejection that came from it. I could just sit in my room and feel like I was progressing at something. And over time, that kind of mindset can hold you back without even realizing it. And the worst part is, nowadays, that trap is becoming even easier to fall into. With everything becoming more expensive, it almost feels like the responsible thing to do is to stay inside, not go out, save money. And on the surface, that makes sense. But when that becomes your default, when staying in becomes your lifestyle, that's when it starts to become a problem. And it's not even just gaming anymore. It's everything. You've got YouTube, TikTok, streaming, scrolling. There are 1,000 different ways now to stay comfortable and entertained without even leaving your room. You can spend an entire day doing something and still feel like you're not really doing anything at all. And the scary part is it feels normal. It feels acceptable, and a lot of people are doing the exact same thing. When I was working my 9 to 5, I would come home, I would sit on the couch, numb myself with TV, or scroll on my phone until, oh, it's 9 o'clock, gotta go to bed, wake up tomorrow and do it all over again. That's just a time waster that so many people are falling into, and it's really scary, the impact it's gonna have over a long course of time. But over time, that comfort zone gets smaller and smaller. Stepping outside of it gets harder and harder. Things that used to feel easy start to feel uncomfortable. Saying yes to new experiences, starting to feel like a risk instead of opportunity. And I didn't really notice it at first, which is wild looking back on it. It kind of creeps up on you slowly. You start saying no to things here and there. You start choosing your room over going out more often. And then one day you look back and realize how many opportunities you passed on, and you can't get them back. That's the part that hits the hardest, I think. The difference is balance. And balance isn't always easy, especially when something is designed to keep you hooked. We have algorithms nowadays that know your interests, your passions, And they're just going to keep force feeding you all of these things to keep you fat and bloated mentally and entertained. But it's necessary if you don't want to look back with the same kind of regrets that I have. Because the truth is, the games will always be there. The next match, the next rank, the next grind, it's not going anywhere. You can always come back to it at any time, but the opportunities you have when you're young, the people you could meet, the experiences you could have, the risks you could take, those don't wait for you. Once they're gone for good. So what does balance actually look like? It's not quitting games completely. Like, for instance, I still play video games, but I only play like 10 hours a week worth of video games. And the majority of it is spent on gathering footage for these clips and videos. It's just making sure it comes after the things that actually move your life forward. Go to new events, try a new hobby, say yes to something that makes you uncomfortable. Even if it feels awkward or you're not sure how it's going to go, those are the moments that actually shape you as a person. And then if you want to come back home and play after that, you'll probably enjoy it even more because it's not the only thing you have. If I could go back, I wouldn't quit gaming completely, but I would have said yes to more things. I would have gone to prom. I would have tried those new sports. I would have taken even more chances, even if I failed at them, because at least I would have experienced them. And that's really the point of this. Just don't let your world get so small that it fits inside of a screen. Don't let comfort stop you from actually living your life, because life is a lot bigger than that if you actually go out and live it. But yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. Thanks for listening. I hope y'all are doing fantastic and appreciate all the love and support recently. Take care. Hope you have a great day. Peace.